So how do I take this camera body and this lens and put them together so I can take some pictures? Well, we're going to answer that question. One of those basic photography equipment questions. Don't feel foolish for asking this type of question, because if you're a new photographer, you just purchased a brand new piece of equipment, you may not know how to do it, and it's a little bit nerve-wracking because you've got something that could be as much as $1,000, $1,200 right here, and then at least maybe $200 right here, this little lens here, the Nifty 50. So how do we do that? Well, let's take a moment and answer this question and put your mind at ease. Hey, if you would just, while we're getting ready to do this, could you go ahead and please just subscribe and like our channel? We'd appreciate it. Okay, so what we're going to do is start with the camera body. It comes with a sensor cover or a camera body cover or a lens cover, whatever you want to call it. But the whole point is this is to protect one of the most expensive parts of your camera body, and that's your sensor. Now, we want to make sure that we keep dust and dirt, things like that, out of here. Now, if you're going to just store this for a while, which I would not recommend, you need to be out shooting. But if you need to store this for some time, hopefully it's because you have a second camera that you're out there shooting with, and this one needs to take a little bit of a break so you can use your other one. But the point is, you want to go ahead and put this right back on here and store it away. But for changing our lens, there's some things that you should know here. First, there is the pins. Just as some knowledge, these are pins that communicate between your camera body and your lens for autofocusing, aperture control, things like that, light metering. And there is this right here, which is really important. I'm going to call it an alignment line or a red line. So we'll use that whenever we go to put our camera lens on, and this is going to be basically the big part of it. And if you kind of look, you'll see that there's a bit of a gear or a female adapter portion for your lens. And then finally, there's this button right over here, normally on the left-hand side. And again, for different camera makers, it's a little different, but for the most part, the process is the same. So this is a little bit spring-loaded. Now we're going to take a look at the lens, because you got to get the lens onto the camera. And something, if you notice real closely here, there's another little line, and it is used to even put this lens cap on the lens. So what do? You got here, and this is a little bit of a practice run, is that you'll see this line, and guess what it lines up to? There's a red line right there. Isn't that nifty? How did they know that? Well, they made the camera, they made the lens. So you can take that off. Now again, we see the corresponding pins that match up to the camera body. Also, you'll see that this is more the male part of the adapter, the gears, the connector for the lens. I don't know the technical term. And then here you go. You see that red line again. Now you're going to guess what? Guess what? You're going to take this red line here, and we're going to line it up with the red line right here. And so looky here. We got your red line down here, red line there. Connect them, line them up. You kind of seat it in there a little bit, and you turn it clockwise. You hear it click in. And for this particular lens, because it is a native Canon lens, it kind of, you could tell that it got in there. So now you got it together. Go take some pictures, enjoy yourself, and challenge yourself to become a better photographer, right? So how do you take this thing off? Well, notice, remember the button over here. You'll press that down, and then you turn counterclockwise, really easy, smoothly. You'll feel it kind of come to a stop, and then you can pull it off. So there's another aspect whenever you're using other types of lenses or adapters. This is the one camera lens that I use on the regular for my regular real estate work. It's a 17-40, and this is an EF lens, which is an earlier model of lens from Canon, but this is an RF mounted camera. So how do I get them to go together? Well, what they do, and it's really nice, is that sometimes you can purchase an adapter for your older lenses to match the new bodies. And if you take note of this particular lens, you'll see that there is actually the red dot. Now that's on the original lens, but because I've got the adapter, which you can kind of see right here, it's got a little foot there to attach to my tripod. Instead of a red line, it has a white dot. So, but you can tell that they correspond to one another. So then what you do is now you take your white dot and you line it up with your red line. Get it right in there, and it should fit right in there, and then you turn it clockwise and it locks in. So now this one, because it's got the adapter, it didn't do the little zzz, because sometimes, in particular this one did not have some functionality because it is an adapter. I could have paid more and got a more expensive adapter that would have had that, but I don't even know what it was. But just a little note, if you look even closer to this adapter, has a very similar situation. You can pull that back and then you can take the lens itself off. Now I heard the little mechanism talking. So again, you can see the pins that are associated with the adapter portion. So here you'll take this red dot, and now white alignment lines are on the adapter. You can see it right there. So you do the same thing, line those up, and then you turn them and it clicks in. Same thing to take the whole thing off. Push down the button, pull it out, and you've got your camera body by itself. And again, make sure you always keep your lenses on your camera body, and that will help protect your sensor. So thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Enjoyed answering this basic photography question. Don't ever feel bad about these things, because I've answered this question, must have been at least 3 times. Different people want to know how to take their lens off their camera body. And you know what? Directions get to be overrated, and they just want to tell you what to do all the time. And who wants to be told what to do? Thank you again so much for watching. Stick with us. We'll have more basic photography techniques and instruction, so it makes it easier for you to get out there and challenge yourself to become a better photographer. Again, any comments, concerns, or personal beliefs, put them in the section that we've made for you down below.